Stay tuned for the next episode on anxiety management.
How can you manage anxiety in the workplace? Anxiety episodes play out day in, day out in our life processes. In our work lives, it plays out. But the issue here is, how do we manage this anxiety in our workplace? When you look at what we have, the first thing to do is you must undertake a healthy living. A healthy living. And there are so many things tied to healthy living. I'm going to start off. The first one, which you see on your screen, is what we call positive thinking. You must constantly be thinking positively. There are some people who are toxic persons. They exude toxicity. They are always thinking negatively. So please, if you are that kind of person, there is need for you to really have what we call cognitive reframing. Your thought processes should be positive in life. Even when things are not too going on fine with you, you have to be optimistic. Optimistic about life is very important. You need to feel good about yourself. You need to look happy. Constantly see that you are happy in life. No matter whatever happens, you should always know that at the end of the road, at the end of that tunnel, there's a light out there. You have to undertake regular exercises, and you eat well. You eat well. And of course, don't forget, you must, if you are somebody who is seriously suffering from any of these anxiety disorders, maybe you have panic attack, maybe at times your hands are always trembling, maybe at times you have these stress-induced issues, seek a professional help. You must also constantly take your medication. Don't play with them. For example, a good example is this. When you come back from your workplace after a hard day's job and you begin to have headache, intense headache, please get some pills, take them, and relax. It is very, very important so that you live long. The other one is there is need for you to sleep. Sleep well. You must sleep well. And please, sleep well because it is good for your health. Then you must have faith. You must have faith over fear. Believe, first of all, in yourself. Believe in you. Whatever situations you are going through, please, first of all, believe in you. And most importantly, believe in God. You must have something to hold on to. It's very important. It reduces your anxiety. It helps you manage those anxious moments. It's very, very important. Look, you need to stay alive. I'm going to tell you a story of a grandmother, one lady. Now we need to listen attentively. When the war broke out, the Nigerian Civil War broke out, actually, this guy went to fight, on the side of the Biafra. And during that war, the stories they heard was that the guy had been killed. But towards the tail end of the war, when the war was ending, the information the family got was that the guy was alive. The guy's name was Maduka, that Maduka was alive. And everybody was happy. Oh, Maduka. But when are we going to see this Maduka? When are we going to see Maduka? The day Maduka came to their compound alive, as the granny was stepping out of the house, he saw Maduka. I am telling you, he had panic attacks. And he just fell down there. She fell down there immediately. And by the time they rushed her to the hospital, she was completely paralyzed. The shock, the anxious moment, anxiety. So we need to be very, very, very careful. I tell you, you need to be very careful. Yes, you have the right to be anxious because of the unknown. But again, tread carefully. And if you are having serious disorders, take your medication. See a professional. Take to the advice of a professional. It will help you. You take your medication, fine. Then you need to, in the workplace, you need to plan and organize your work. You need to organize yourself. Of course, you know, when we talk about time management skills, everything goes into proper planning and organization, because that's one of the places you could have work-related, anxiety disorders, when you don't plan yourself properly. So when you look at all this, these are simplest ways you can manage anxiety and stay alive. But when it comes to medication, for those of us who are experiencing constant headache, you're having that panic attack, you have serious increased heart palpitation, and so on and so forth. By the time you seek the help of probably a professional, you will be given some drugs but the ones that are known basically are anti-anxiety medications, such as benzodiazepines. Once you take it, it decreases your anxiety, panic, and worry. They work quickly, but the bad thing about it is that if you take it constantly, they can help build your tolerance to them. Then we also have what we call the antidepressants. These are for people that are constantly, they are depressed in life. They are seriously depressed in life. And except something comes up quickly, I tell you, they are in trouble. If they are not properly managed, they could end up taking their life. That's where you see some people commit suicide. It's not because they want to, because the idea of being depressed in life simply means there is nothing else for you. You feel that there is nothing else here to worry about. And as such, one will end up taking his or her life. So we have the antidepressants that can help you improve mood and reduce stress. And the last set is what we call the beta blockers. All right? The beta blockers are basically used for people that have high blood pressure. Once you have a high blood pressure, then of course you go and look for beta blockers. There are so many in the market. So you can use them and stay alive, because the idea is for you to stay alive. Staying alive, of course, is nothing else than being there for your God and being there for yourself. Very, very important. So on this note, I want to simmer down a bit and entertain some questions. If you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask the questions. You have questions?
The floor is open, please. Questions, comments, additions, and subtractions, please. The floor is open. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Mayowa, is that you?
No.
Okay, who is talking?
Chukunonso.
Yeah? Okay, yes, so.
Exactly, sir.
All right, my dear. Yes, go ahead, please.
So first of all, I want to thank you especially, Mr. Efita, for this masterpiece. It's really very encouraging.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful.
Thank you, sir.
Please, I would like you to throw more light on the anxiety medications. Please come again on that. And also, okay. I will also request that you give us a slide after this, whether the slide will be readily available to staffs, but it is well needed.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
I will say something. Yes, so when my wife died, let me tell you a story. When my wife died 2 years ago, honestly, this was somebody I saw in the morning up till afternoon when we parted. And I said, oh, I'll see you later. And in the evening, all of a sudden, she slumped. And we rushed to the hospital. And before I could say Jack Robinson, with all the medication and so on, and behold, she died. I have never experienced this kind of thing before. Then, what ran through my mind then was, how am I going to survive without my wife? How am I going to carry along these 4 kids, these small kids? How? I fell into serious depression. There was nothing I never contemplated. As a matter of fact, you go to a stage, I contemplated suicide. But something in me kept telling me, look, man, if you die now, what will be the fate of these kids? They will be useless in life. I begin to hallucinate until a friend who noticed, because behavior is going to change, said, no. At this thing I'm seeing, no. I was given this antidepressant tablet. What it did actually was, it made me sleep well. Are you with me, please? And of course, when I woke up, with people around me, my mood began to change. So you could have a mood swing. So anxiety medication, basically, as I said, that I know of, anti-anxiety medications, you have the benzodiazepines. The idea here, what they do is they decrease your anxiety, panic, and worry. They work all quickly, but when you take it constantly, it can build up tolerance to them. Then the antidepressants, of course, when you go there, they are all over there in the pharmacy. Then beta blockers are basically for people that have high blood pressure. So it helps to reduce it. So there are so many. You have the atenolol tablets. There are so many. All right. It helps you a lot. Have I answered your question on your soul, please? Hello? And your soul? All right?
Yes, sir, you've answered it. I'm grateful,
okay,
sir.
And, all right. In transmission,
Okay, yes, sir.
It was due to the network here. I'm very sorry, dear participants. Please, we are going to continue. Yeah. Okay, someone was asking a question. Yeah, please, can you go ahead with the question now? Hello? Hello? Do we have more questions before I round off? Do you have any other question before I call it a day?
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, please, still on the slide.
Yes.
Still on the slide for this particular training.
Yes.
Yes. Will it be readily available? If it will not be available, I would like you to mention all the types of phobia we have and their meaning.
No, you have it. You have it, but the phobias, can you see on the screen there?
No,
Can you see it on your screen?
We can't see
Hello?
clearly. Yeah,
Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. So there are so many. The list here is not exhaustive. And who is talking? Is it Onyeso?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me ask you, what is your own phobia?
My own phobia.
Yes.
My own phobia is height, is fear of height.
Aha. So if you have that fear of height, that means you are suffering from what we call acrophobia.
Acrophobia.
Yes, acrophobia. The fear of heights.
Fear of height.
There are some people who are afraid of being abandoned by the loved ones, the people they love. Are we together?
We are very much together, sir.
So this explains why abroad, when somebody has that intense liking for you, he has given you all in all, then all of a sudden you now decide to go and abandon that person to go and marry somebody else. The person simply goes and get a gun and shoot you. Bah, that's it.
Okay.
It's born out of what we call autophobia, a serious fear of being abandoned by somebody you love. So there are so many. Of course, some of us have that fear of success. That's why any little thing in the office, I cannot do it, I cannot make it. I don't think I will be able to. Why not say I will give it a try? Why say no, I cannot, I know I cannot do. You are suffering from that achievemophobia, the fear of success. So there are so many, the list is not exhaustive. Are we together?
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Okay, any other question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Amabel. Okay.
Your name is?
Amabel.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, for those who joined a little late. I'm wondering if you could just run through the types of anxiety again.
Okay, all right. Well, I will oblige you. I will oblige you.
Thank you.
All right, let's take it once again before I will round up. Basically, we look at anxiety. I started with the opening vignette. And you need to remember that although anxiety is part of life, never let anxiety control you. If anxiety controls you, you are going to have that disorder known as anxiety disorder. So when you look at anxiety, it is simply intense worry, thoughtfulness that can lead to increased blood pressure, or that can lead to that mental health condition. So anxiety as a phenomenon is all right, it's functional. But when you become excessively anxious, that's where it is dangerous. And we talk about the cycle, and we said you can go through this cycle. Something must trigger up your anxiety. In some cases, it could be memories, it could be events, it could be mental images. Traumatic experiences can trigger off. But we are trying to say that the next stage is, once it is triggered off, try to avoid it. Because if you avoid it, you will have a short-term relief, which is the third stage. But if you are unable to avoid it, it will take you to a long-term anxiety, which will, of course, lead to a serious disorder. And we are saying that, please, you need to avoid that stage. All right. Then I also talk about the causes. I said, look at the causes here. Traumatic experiences could lead to anxiety disorder. Environmental factors like stress, when you become too stressed up, then mental health, depression, at times people go into depression. Now, the reason for that depression is because of that anxiety disorder. or when we are trying to withdraw from drugs, it could lead to depression. That's why you see somebody who is a cocaine addicted. When that person is cocaine addicted, when you are withdrawing it, you withdraw it gradually. You don't withdraw all of a sudden because the person will die. So withdrawal. Then we talk about hereditary. We said there are some people that this kind of disorder runs in the family. When you are having panic attacks, when you are having serious heart palpitation, please seek help. Look at the historical antecedents. You will discover that maybe somebody, maybe your father, your mother, your uncle, or whatever. If it runs in the genealogy of the family, then you need to seek help. Then heart diseases, diabetes, respiratory disorders, and so on could be, of course, the cause of anxiety disorder. Then we talk about work-related anxiety. This one is in the workplace. Of course, when you have a rundown, you will know low pay or lack of benefits, meeting deadlines because you want to meet deadlines, conflict with co-workers, managing others could be a serious problem, long work days with no compensation, over-demanding boss who wants you to work from morning till the night with nothing, all right, excessive workload, and so on. All these ones are work-related anxieties. Now, we talked about types of anxieties. We said we have the generalized anxiety disorder, known as GAD. We have the panic disorder. We have the phobia. We have separation anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and of course, obsessive compulsive disorder. There are times, okay, let's look at them gradually. When we talk about general anxiety disorder, we are talking about a mental health condition, all right? And that, that is characterized by the following symptoms that you are seeing here. At times when you have increased muscle ache, when your concentration, when you are constantly losing concentration, when you are easily irritated, when you have difficulty sleeping, when you are always restless and you are fatigued, oh, you are suffering from general anxiety disorder. The second type is the panic disorder. This one, panic, the word panic has to do with intense feeling. When you have a sudden panic attack, that's intense feeling. And the symptoms are here. They are characterized by heart palpitation, where your heart continues to beat very fast. If care is not taken, it could lead to heart failure. When your hands are trembling, you want to give something to your hands begin to tremble. When you have shortness of breath, when you are constantly, you are sweating profusely, when you have chest pain, and when you are nauseated, all these are signs of panic disorder. Then the phobia we've already discussed, there are so many. Genophobia, the fear of sexual intercourse, becomes a problem for some people. Not only it doesn't pertain to women alone, but even men. The fear of, let me tell you something. Any man who is afraid of having sexual relationship with people is because he's inferior. The inferiority complex that comes in has to do with maybe his winky is so small and he feels slighted that how is he going to take off his clothes in front of somebody with a small winky. So that brings about the fear of sexual intercourse. It is called genophobia. Then we have the allodoxaphobia, the fear of opinion. People at times are highly opinionated. Once they form an impression and they have an opinion, they don't want other persons to come up with other ideas. They are afraid that other people's ideas might be better off than theirs. Then androphobia. There are some women who are afraid of men. Maybe because of their traumatic experiences in life. They are afraid of men. Yes. especially probably when you were growing, when somebody was growing up and he was raped, he was gang raped, or he was raped by an elderly person. And of course, that fear will continue. Men, don't go near men. Don't go near men. And except something happens that changes that orientation, you grow up with that fear. Then there's fear of heights. I remember Onyeso telling me he has acrophobia. He is afraid of heights. One of these days, if I see Onyeso, I will take him to a very higher level so that I will try to take away that fear from him. All right, so these are the fears. Some people have fear of intimacy. They don't want to go into relationships, one thing or the other. Probably they have been jilted. They have been jilted so many times, and they have given up on relationships. So these are the types of phobia. Then, of course, we have social anxiety disorder, when you are more concerned about what people will say about you. It gives you that anxiety, that anxious moment. What will so person say about me? You are more interested with what people will say about you. You are more interested with not going out to embarrass yourself because of that inferiority complex that you have. Some people cannot socialize because they have complex. Then the separation anxiety disorder, of course, has to do with fear of separation from your loved ones. And in some cases, look at this one, post-traumatic stress disorder. When you have experienced a trauma somewhere, after the trauma, of course, it could lead to serious disorder because the fear will be, oh, what about if this thing happens again? What about if this thing happens again? Then obsessive compulsive disorder is when some people are obsessed with a particular thing. It becomes such that they cannot do without it. I imagine sometime when somebody told me, he said, when I said, why are you smoking? He said, my brother, smoking makes me reset. It resets my brain. Can you imagine? He said smoking makes him reset his brain, makes his brain to reset, which means he has that obsession for smoking. And in one way or the other, we could have our obsessions. I do not know what the obsessions are, but of course, don't let it get to disorder because that would mean it is excessive. All right. Then we talk about managing anxiety. Once you see them, the first thing to note is healthy living. Healthy living means positive thinking. Stop thinking negatively about life. This life is beautiful. No matter how rough this life is, no matter the hardship, the afflictions you're going through, man, sooner or later you realize that this life is really sweet to behold. So you need to feel good about yourself. Feel good about yourself, even when things are not going on well. Please, you need to be very optimistic. Remain optimistic that tomorrow is going to be wonderful. All right? Then you eat well. Whatever you have to eat, eat and eat it well.